All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about the NFL honors and, who ended up winning what award, things like that. So I did watch it. Snoop Dogg was the host, and, he was okay, I guess. He was the host. But let's get into who won what award. So the big one, of course, was Josh Allen. Josh Allen gets his first MVP and well deserved. I don't think Lamar Jackson was there last night. I feel like we would have saw him, but yeah, he wasn't there. So that was kind of telling early on that I thought, all right, Josh Allen's definitely going to get it then. Um, that is not the right segment there, but yeah, I could tell yeah right off the bat, yeah, Josh Allen's going to get it, and I did feel that going into the NFL honors last night. I said, you know what, I'm leaning towards it going to be Josh Allen, and part of that was because Lamar Jackson, he got the All Pro honors, um, and I guess sometimes one quarterback could get All Pro and the other gets MVP. That has happened before. Um, so it was partly that, but also the other thing too is I said it. The Bills, the 2 seed, and when you kind of look at who is more valuable. Now sometimes that doesn't always make the case for MVP, but Josh Allen was definitely more. I said this. Josh Allen was more valuable to the Bills this season than Lamar Jackson was. Now they're both very valuable to their teams, but Josh Allen is more valuable. When going into the year, the Bills were expected to take a step back. Now I started going towards that and thinking, oh, they just like not going to make the playoffs. But then I'm like, nah, they're going to make the playoffs. You got Josh Allen. They've been to the playoffs since he's really turned it up. Has really developed into one of the better quarterbacks in the league. They're not going to miss out. Now I didn't have them winning the division, but I still had them making the playoffs. But Josh Allen went out and he had arguably his best season. And he had a couple of games, against the Bills and the Bills, against the Rams and the Lions, where he scored 5 touchdowns, and he made a lot of great plays this year, and the Bills, they came up a little bit short, which is it's upsetting that this continues to happen, but at some point, guys like him, guys like Lamar Jackson, you would think they're going to break through, right? They have to. But it's well deserved that he got this award, and I'm happy that he has an MVP to his resume now. And now he's just got to go out there and get it done in the postseason. It's the same thing that goes with Lamar Jackson. They got to go out there and get it done, and finally, if it's the Chiefs that stand in their way, they got to be able to knock them off. And we'll see if they end up doing that at some point. But either way, he's very gracious of the award. Thanked his family. His fiance was with him as well. So it was a good night for him, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully now next step is winning that Super Bowl. So we'll see. But let's go through some of the other award winners now, shall we? So Defensive Player of the Year ended up being Patrick Surtain the second, and it was kind of funny because when he was up there, the label pops up on the bottom and it says Myles Garrett on the screen. So somebody screwed up there with Myles Garrett instead of Patrick Surtain. But Patrick Surtain had a really good year for the Broncos. He's the top corner in the NFL. So well deserved there. I think, what did I say? I think I said Trey Hendrickson just because he was the sack leader. But he ended up not getting it. Myles Garrett, like I said, he was up for the award. TJ Watt was up for the award. But Patrick Surtain is a heck of a player, and he's one of the cornerstones to the Broncos right now. So well deserved there. Kevin O'Connell ended up winning Coach of the Year. That was kind of expected. The Vikings, not a lot of people expected them to be as good as they were. I mean, 14 games. You had Sam Darnold as your quarterback who went out and had a good year. Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. So, yeah, no, congratulations to him. Jared Verse, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. The Rams, they did a good job, rebuilding this defensive line with, him and Fisk, after Aaron Donald retired. So, yeah, no, they got a good player on defense, and, so far so good with, what he's been able to do. Saquon Barkley won Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, no surprise there. He wasn't going to get MVP, but he was going to get Offensive Player of the Year. So I'm not surprised by that. Joe Burrow won Comeback Player of the Year. I felt very strongly of that. I figured he was going to get something. It was funny because they talked about how he was up for multiple awards last night. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. And I was like, imagine if he wins none of them. I was like, he's going to win at least one. And Comeback Player of the Year, he deserved it. I mean, he, missed, the last quarter or so of the season with the wrist injury last year. And, if the Bengals finished with a better record, if they were higher up there, with the seedings, I mean, he probably would have won MVP. And he even said it. He said that nobody really played better than him this year. But, I think if the Bengals would have gotten off to a better start, he would have been the MVP. Jane Daniels actually won 3 awards last night. So he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He won the Play of the Year, which was the Hail Mary. And then this one says there was another rookie award. Oh, Pepsi Next Rookie of the Year. I guess that's what it's called. But yeah, Offensive Rookie of the Year, though, he deserved it. It could have been Bo Nix. Some of the receivers were good this year, but Jane Daniels was the best. I mean, he led his team to the playoffs, and they got all the way to the NFC Championship game. I mean, he really deserved it. And as a Giant fan, you got to give him props. It just hurts because now you have the Eagles who are not going away. Now you got the Commanders to deal with, a team that the Giants used to beat up on, and you figure Dallas is going to be better next year. So where does that leave the Giants? And we'll talk about the Giants in a little bit here. But yeah, Jane Daniels, well-deserved. Ben Johnson won Assistant Coach of the Year. Josh Allen and Jamar Chase. Josh Allen won Air Player of the Year. Jamar Chase won the FedEx Ground Player of the Year award. Trey Hendrickson won the Deacon Jones Award. George Kittle won the Salute to Service. Josh Allen also won the Art Rooney Award. Eric Armstead, he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. So those are all the award winners. Now we'll get into the Hall of Fame. So 4 players ended up making it. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp. And I got to watch a little bit of how Sterling Sharp found out because Shannon Sharp was waiting for him, his brother, and he got to tell him he was wearing his gold jacket. So that was pretty cool to see that video. But well-deserved for these guys. Antonio Gates was, a very good tight end during his career. Jared Allen, a very good edge rusher, 4-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, and a 5-time Pro Bowler. And in 2007, had an NFL best 15.5 sacks, 19 tackles for loss. Got a All-Pro nod that season. Eric Allen enters the Hall of Fame in his 19th year of eligibility and second as a finalist. Played with a few franchises. Was part of the Eagles secondary, 6 Pro Bowls, first team All-Pro. 1989, he racked up 8 interceptions. 1993, he led the league with 4 pick sixes, logged a career high 3 forced fumbles and 2 sacks, and he finished 8th in Defensive Player of the Year voting that year. He wrapped up his career in New Orleans and Oakland. He had 6 picks and an NFL high 3 for scores. And then for Antonio Gates. Like I said, was a great tight end. He reached 8 straight Pro Bowls from 2004 to 2011. Had 955 total receptions, 11,841 receiving yards, and 116 career touchdowns. In 8 seasons with at least 8 receiving touchdowns are the most among tight ends in NFL history. And he's the Chargers' all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving TDs. And this was his second year of eligibility for the Hall of Fame. And then Sterling Sharp was the lone finalist from the seniors, coach, and contributor categories to make the Hall of Fame in 2025. He was an NFL pro for just 7 seasons, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, and he was a Triple Crown winner. 1992, he paced all pass catchers in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He was one of Brett Favre's favorite targets in Green Bay. His last season in the NFL, career high 18 touchdowns, and they just missed out on a Super Bowl title. That's unbelievable. That's a great finish to your career in just a short amount of time. But yeah, 18 receiving touchdowns, so he made it. But a lot of people were disappointed. I was disappointed, and I did tell you when I came on yesterday that I didn't feel good about Eli Manning's chances of getting in this year. Yeah, I quickly realized that, yeah, he's not going to get in. At least last night he's not going to get in. But he said he's totally at peace with missing the Hall of Fame ballot, or the first ballot. He's going to get in at some point. I hope it doesn't take too long. I mean, because, I just told you it took Eric Allen a long time to get in. But I think Eli is going to get in at some point. I said, you know what? It would be cool to see him, Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger all get in at the same time, although then Eli would have to wait a couple more years. I think Rivers will be on the ballot next year, and then Ben the year after, because 2021 was his last year. But I think it would be cool, you have both of those guys, or all of those guys get in at the same time, because that 04 draft class gets talked about a lot with the things that happened with it, and it turned out to be a pretty good class. I know Rivers ended up not winning a Super Bowl, but he had a good career. Ben Roethlisberger won a couple of Super Bowls. So just to see them all, it to come full circle and all three of them get in at the same time, I think that would be cool. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I'd like to see Eli get in sooner rather than later. I don't want to see Phillip Rivers get in before Eli. If Phillip Rivers gets in before Eli, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Eli's got to get in. Whether it's with Phillip Rivers or before Phillip Rivers, he should not get in after Phillip Rivers. But like I said, I think it'd be cool if all three of them get in at the same time: Rivers, Eli, and Big Ben. That would be pretty cool. But now you got Breeze, who's going to be on the ballot. Brady's going to be on the ballot soon. Those guys. I mean, they're going to get in immediately. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll have to wait and see. But that is pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, congratulations to all the award winners from last night at the NFL Honors. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame class of 2025. Well deserved. And we have made it. We have made it to the weekend. Super Bowl is on Sunday. Super Bowl is on the horizon. Can't wait for it. Hope you guys all enjoy the Super Bowl. Make sure to check out all the other shows. Get everybody else's opinion on the game as well for today. And, when we come back on Monday, like I said earlier in the show, we will have a Super Bowl champion, and we will talk about it. So that is all the time that we have for today. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day. Enjoy the game, and I will talk to you guys on Monday. Take care.